Good evening, I'm Mark Splinter. I'm kind of a normal person, as the introduction almost said, but I'm also British and I've been living in Lithuania for 7 years, and that's also not so crazy. And what I want to talk about tonight is a way that you too are probably normal people, and you might have heard of these places on television and you've seen them on television, and they are very scary looking and everything is always exploding. But I wanted to show you how you can actually go there yourself and have a look. And I don't think you're going to save the world, and you're certainly not going to understand war after you've been somewhere for 30 days. But I think it's worthwhile to broaden your experience. And like the guy said earlier, if someone gives you an opportunity, maybe you should sometimes say yes. So, as I said, I'm British, so British. I joined the RAF cadets when I was 13. They taught me how to kill various Argentinians, Russians, Irish. And at that time, you can imagine I'm 13, I'm in a uniform, and they're teaching me how to fly a multi-million-dollar aircraft eventually, if I work hard enough. And I thought war was pretty cool, looked like a nice job. So I was kind of thinking about the RAF. Then changed a little bit, went to art college, went a bit the other way, decided to protest against the war, mainly because of the horrific death and suffering. So this is a photo I took in 2003 at one of the biggest protests ever, which was against the war in Afghanistan and the upcoming invasion of Iraq. I still agree with this guy, by the way. Now I'm in Lithuania and I do a little bit of that. I do a lot of music projects with young people in Lithuania, making events, making record labels, making videos, and trying to train and promote them. It's an export business, basically. I think they're very talented. We try and export their talent. I also have an internet marketing company, which goes very nicely with selling music. So, that's me, but you're not here for me. You're here because you want to go to a horrific war zone for a holiday. Extreme tourism in Kabul. This was a joke I had with a guy in Kabul. Now it's serious. I hope he's watching. Visas, first thing. Afghanistan is not yet a member of the European Union. And apparently they're not joining the Eurozone either, so you're going to need a bit of money. You definitely need a visa. This was actually very easy to get because I wanted a tourist visa, because I'm on holiday. So I flew to Dubai. I went to the consulate of Afghanistan. It was a big title. There's a guy behind a desk. I showed him my passport. I have long hair on my passport photo. He thought I was applying for a woman, and it took a long time to sort out. Then I got to the next desk, and the guy said, "What do you want the visa for?" So I said, "Tourist." And he said, "Come back at 6. I said, "My flight's like at 3, can you do it a bit quicker?" "Come back at 5. I had a night in Dubai, it was okay, there was a swimming pool on the roof. Thought this is a pretty good holiday in Afghanistan so far, and we're going to go tomorrow. So we changed the flight. The flight. Flying to Kabul is interesting because you might have seen Dubai Airport, but you haven't seen Dubai Airport. You've seen the posh terminal that's the size of a football stadium. And if you fly to places such as Basra, Mogadishu, Mosul, Kabul, you need to go to a slightly different terminal that I presume is bomb blast radius away from the main terminal where the Americans and the British are. You go down there and it's full of people dressed like terrorists. Now that's actually a serious point because of course you only ever really see terrorists on TV, don't you? So they've got that Osama bin Laden hat on and you think that's a terrorist, but no, they all wear that, don't they? So first shock, don't worry, they're normal, they're not terrorists. Been through the scanner, it's fine. So, this is the view out of the window, which in some ways is immensely beautiful, in other ways, I was in the RAF, so I know that there's absolutely no way you're going to land a plane if there's any trouble in there, so I was a bit scared. Passport control. This is a kind of a sport where all of the Afghans try and prevent all of the white-skinned people getting to the front of the queue ever. So we were literally last through passport control. I think you should just wait for them to go through. There's no way of cheating the queue, they're experts. Accommodation. Well, first thing you do when you come to a new town, you need to book into a hotel. Unfortunately, the management of the Intercontinental Kabul regretfully informed guests that breakfast tomorrow will not be served due to a massacre by the pool and a subsequent Apache helicopter rocket attack. Another serious point. Don't go in a hotel, it's a target. What I'm recommending, excuse me, it's not funny. It's actually not, people died. And the thing is that you should be going, I went with a project that's running there, people that know what's going on the ground, and they're a private company, and they know what's going on, and you stay in a private house, something like this, and it's lovely. And there's a garden outside, like this. And it's not a target, it's only 1 story high, it's no use to anybody. And I think you'll find then, when you talk to other people out there that are maybe working for the military, they've got a curfew, they can't go out to a party. They've got to have an armed car, they've got to have a driver. If they go 10 metres, they've got to be in the armed car with their driver. So, I recommend you find an organisation that can meet you at the airport, take care of you, you're volunteering for something, you'll have a great time. Water, essential for any holiday. You buy it in bottles, it's easy, you just go to the shop. Bread. You go to the bread shop and you buy bread. I think the first thing that really surprised me was, you walk down the street and you go to the shop, and there's a shop for that and a shop for that. It's a working city, and you've only ever seen the dusty road with a lot of trucks on it, but the actual city has got shopping centres, and I think it's got a swimming pool, or maybe it got bombed. So, if you're getting really extravagant, chips burger is the ultimate food. I asked someone to introduce me to what the locals eat. He took me to look like a kind of a kebab shop. I thought, let's try. We have a chips burger, which is chips wrapped in some tortilla, bit of salad. Ate it. I'm vegetarian, so I'm not going to touch the meat anyway. I mean, if you eat meat, good luck to you. So I thought I'd have the chips burger. No problem from it. My boss was ill for 3 days. I went back the next day. I walked past the shop and I saw how they make the chips burger with the big metal potato chipper on the pavement next to the open sewer. So they go like that, and the chips come out onto the pavement, and they pick them up, and they put them in a bucket of dirty water for later. I eat bread most of the time. I don't think it's a cultural difference. I don't think the locals have some amazing stomach that's impenetrable to E. coli. That's not true. Our staff in the house were ill. People get ill all the time because it's just not clean. Toilets. Well, you guys live in Lithuania, so you know what the toilets are like in Afghanistan. Alcohol. Yeah, you live in Lithuania, so you're going to want that. It is an Islamic republic. Officially, of course, you can't buy it, but then officially you can't buy opium either. Electricity sometimes works. Good news if you need to charge your iPhone and blog about your experiences. You can do that sometimes. Internet, when the electricity is on, also sometimes works, and for a mere 2-hour wait, you can watch a YouTube video lasting 90 seconds. This internet connection will cost you only $500. Probably the guy that sold it to you has sold it 500 times to other people as well. But it works. I blogged from Kabul. You can read inkabul.tumblr.com, I think it is. All my hilarious experiences. Transport, get a taxi from an approved firm. Don't just get in the back of a truck like we did, because you risk being asked if you're a Muslim and being told that Islam is the best religion of all time. Not comfortable. Entertainment. You might imagine there's not many nightclubs. There's huge wedding palaces. I mean, that's like they spend their entire... They get a mortgage for the wedding and then pay it off for the rest of their life. Because they build the house just themselves. Insane system. Apparently, the locals use this for recreational purposes, this plant, to do something with it. That's what they told me. Sometimes they play music while they're using this plant. This is what we did for fun most nights. We just played some music with some friends, loads of people jamming in a house. Make your own fun. There's definitely nothing on television. They also put on rock concerts, and they encourage young artists in Kabul, just like I do in Lithuania, so we got really well. We had some parties, went to a death metal concert. Death metal as in these guys actually do witness suicide bombings and write about it, so they're real rock and roll. Crime, obviously, you know, you could say the entire war's a crime, really, couldn't you? But no one was ever going to pick my pocket, really. I think these guys would soon sort them out if someone tried anything. Look at Mario, he's so happy. He's got a nice gun. Suicidal fundamentalist human bombs with AK-47s. I'm not going to lie to you, you know, this isn't like, it's totally safe, go to Afghanistan, no problem. You might get killed. But it is, I thought, a relatively low risk. I mean, I only heard 2 suicide bombs, and they were a few blocks away. And you're sitting there with people that have been there for 4 years, and they're just like, oh, shut up. Suicide bomber. Sightseeing, of course. Lake Karga. You definitely want to go out there. It's beautiful and full of rubbish. You can sit in one of these little things and get a dirty kebab and a can of Coke, and after your meal they will throw the Coke can into the lake. They do that everywhere. He did it in another cafe when we're somewhere else, and we, like Europeans, we're like, whoa, whoa, mate, the environment, what are you doing? In the river. And he said, river goes to Pakistan. There you go, there's your dirty kebab. It's alright, he's wiped the plates with a black cloth. Kabul Golf Club, yeah, definitely want to check that out. Expat hangout. Here's the clubhouse where you cannot get a cocktail, but you can get a warm can of beer for about $5. Murakami Market. Some of you might have been to Asian markets. I've only been to one. It was Murakami, and I think I just started at the top of the rankings. It was absolutely off the scale insane. This was the most normal photo I got. It looks almost like Lithuania, you might say, because of the Soviet legacy, except that it's full of just dust and potatoes everywhere. A photo can't really show you the mentalness, but I'm glad I didn't risk putting a video into this presentation. This is next to the market. It's a lovely art school. I hope I'm not running over time, by the way, but it says 0, so I'm just going to keep going. They're preserving local crafts. It's actually another serious point. The guy that's running it said that there used to be sort of 10 of him. Now he's the Grand Master because all of his Grand Masters left the country. So now he's sitting there, he's the man. He's teaching kids, boys and girls together, which is a very big deal. They're making some beautiful stuff, and it looked like a great project. If only the whole country could be full of projects like that, there would be no problem. Skate fountain. This is an old Soviet fountain where some clever guy decided to start teaching skateboarding, which I think is an excellent idea. I went down there, we took a bunch of megaphones. Actually, one of the things I do is I promote beatboxing. I was in the Lithuanian National Beatboxing Championships last night. Beatboxing is the thing where guys go, except they do it much better than me. I showed that to a bunch of Afghan kids, and 30 seconds later they were much better than me. All over the place with megaphones. And I've been told it's an essential tourist accessory from Afghanistan. You have to get a photo of at the time you made a child smile. There's mine. Go out to the Panjshir Valley. Awesome. That's a Soviet tank. Soviets tried to invade this place like 9 times. The guy that controls the valley, Masood, he's buried behind. Eventually killed by somebody with an explosive video camera who was interviewing him. But he's now a big-time national hero and a good icon of resistance from one point of view. So, having seen all of that, you should be already working on a project, and you'll probably find a lot of other people and a lot of ideas, and they're obviously desperate for people that can work. I mean, honestly, if you just send a few emails, I'm sure you can find someone in Dakar. Projects that we're working on since I've been there, Kabul at Work. This is interviews with local working people trying to focus on their lives and their problems as opposed to focusing on the war and the military strategy. This is a guy that makes sweets. This is a taekwondo teacher. This is a guy that sells ice cream with the Titanic theme tune playing off a Chinese microchip. It's the worst sound I've ever heard. And this is the guy who sells burqas. As you can see, in a wide variety of colours. Apparently there is a new colour that some of the more trend-setting women are wearing these days, but it's a bit risky. And I can also say that a lot of them have very, very colourful stuff underneath, which you hardly ever get to see, and I promise I never looked at. It was just a note. I'm told at home they're all completely dressed up in Bollywood fantasy with gold things hanging off it. I never saw that because you are never allowed to see the women. And the most serious point I'll tell you about Afghanistan is that I was horrified with things I heard about how women are treated. I don't believe it's a cultural difference. I think humans are humans everywhere, and nobody has the right to say, in our country, we rape women and we don't care. So, I think this is the last one, Sound Central Festival, big music festival, insane people, now my friends and my clients, organised a music festival in Kabul. Secret, didn't tell anyone where it was. Had a security advisor, had guys with Kalashnikovs, and they made a rock festival for a bunch of kids who had probably the best day of their life, and I remember exactly when I was like that in London. So this is excellent to see, and I just really hope that these projects keep going and don't get swallowed up by the political changes that are happening. Development Pictures made a film about the national sport called Kashi, which is carrying a dead goat around, and there's horses, and then there's a big argument afterwards. It's a bit like cricket. So they're making a feature film which is also aimed at boosting the pride of local people and making cinema more popular, because the Taliban banned it. There's one cinema that's full of rats, so they're trying to regenerate local storytelling and cinema. So, I hope, that's all I can say. I'm not an expert, I didn't see any solutions, I just saw a big mess where you can make a little bit of difference to some people sometimes, and I hope enough people are making a positive difference so that it gets better. I also hope that at least one of you take the opportunity, find a crazy place to go and see it with your own eyes and tell your friends about it, because the TV isn't telling the full story, and you can only increase the amount of information that's in the world if you go and find something that no one else has found. So, that's my final message. Thank you very much.